Bonsoir tout le monde. On s'excuse qu'on ait quelques minutes de retard. Alors, je vous souhaite bonne soirée.
So we wish people good evening, and we're going to start with the opening announcements. Dear colleagues, may we have the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. So we have quorum. Okay. Are there any conflicts of interest for members of council tonight?
Alors, on passe à l'autre point, l'adoption de l'ordre du jour. Proposé par le conseiller Cormier, appuyé par le
by
conseiller...
Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the
Si on n'a pas, on passe au vote. Ceux en faveur signifient en
all
disant
those in
oui.
favour, signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Presentations, inquiries, and petitions. Are there any inquiries by council members for the Kodiak Regional RCMP? Councillor Beliveau. Thank you, Worship, or Deputy Mayor. Good news tonight. I've noticed over the last week and a half, the presence of units patrolling our streets, more activity. I hope that people are not going to say that I'm going to be that I was happy that people got arrested. Hopefully it was just some warnings. But what there does seem to be is better conditions in our streets. So I think that the presence of the police is nice. It's not still a safe area. There's still lots of people doing there. So thank you very much for being more present over the last week and a half. Thank you. I believe that we gave out 1 ticket and 8 warnings since the last meeting. And we're continuing its priority on our action plan. In other words, having more presence in the urban area. So thank you very much. Councillor Godet. Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I received a serious complaint concerning Champlain between Barnes and the city limits. The complaint is in 2 parts. First of all, the paving that was done over the year seems to be dangerous because it has actually added bumps to the street, and I was told that it was a 2x4, about 4 feet long, that bounced off one of the streets, and we know that it's a very pedestrian street in front of the Flight College up to the residence at the end of it, and also pieces of metal that seem to jump out of trucks. It's so bumpy there that the springs on the trucks and cars actually break. So that's one of them, one of the complaints. So all these trucks, are they supposed to be there? Is it legal to find so many trucks there? And also, the other complaint is the speed between the Champlain, on Champlain between Barnes and the city limits, the speed limits. I would ask your service and engineering and the public service, public works, pay attention maybe to the condition of the street because it is dangerous. Yeah, you're talking about big trucks Yeah, essentially, those are the ones who are dangerous. When they hit bumps, they lose some of their stuff from the back of the trucks. We've opened a file for traffic infractions in the city of Dieppe, so now it's easier for members to note actions for complaints like this. So at the next meeting, I should have some statistics ready for you. Thank you. And I'd also like to add that we've already identified 6 or 7 members of the force who will be present at the ceremony for Remembrance Day at the ceremony here in Dieppe. Thank you for your increased presence in the streets of Dieppe. And if you want to stay with us, you're quite welcome. So, presentations. We have a presentation on the 2015 participatory budgeting. So, good evening, Deputy Mayor, members of Council, dear colleagues. We're taking the advantage of this last meeting of the Municipal Council before the participatory vote to shed some light on some important information for the residents for the vote that is going to be starting on Friday. So a couple of minutes to give you some ideas. There'll be more information through communication that we will share with the rest of the community a little later this week. So we've been working on this project for over a year now, and what is important to note is that starting this Friday the 13th of November to the 5th of December, residents of Dieppe will have the opportunity to vote for their favorite projects in this participatory vote. The projects will be unveiled only on Friday. They will be made public, so people will be able to consult the website, dieppe.ca, to have an idea of what kind of projects there are and which ones are most important for them. So we'll be inviting residents to vote during these 21 days, just one vote only per resident. And as you know, all residents of Dieppe from 11 years old and older have an opportunity to vote. This is a very inclusive vote for the residents of Dieppe. So if you're 11 or older, you can vote. You can vote online. This is a new way of doing things, and I'm giving you a couple of details for this. So the vote in person, it's at the Municipal Hall, Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30, Wednesday from 4:30 to 8 p.m. at the Dieppe Market every Saturday morning from 7 to 1, and also the Aquatic Center during the opening hours. We know that it's open evenings and in the weekend, so it'll be very accessible for people. And then there will also be a mobile team that is going to be moving around from different activities and venues, for example, the ice skating, during the voting period, because it is participatory voting, so it's to help the people to vote and to make their choices. Now, concerning the online vote, we can have access to the site to vote 3 different ways: to make sure that it's secure and to make sure that people don't vote more than once. There are certain parameters, so people can vote using a specific code that is given by the municipality. So in order to receive your code, you have to present yourself in person, one of the mobile teams that will be moving around, and you have to validate that you are truthfully a resident of Dieppe with some type of identification, and then we give you a code. So you give your name, your first name, and then when you access the website, we ask the same question, the code that you've received, your name, your first name, and your postal code. So that'll assure us that we have the proper information to make sure that you are a valid voter. The second one is with your profile number and the postal code. That's the there are approximately 6,000 people, 6,000 residents in Dieppe who have a profile number who want to register in some type of leisure activity. So it'll be the same profile number and your postal code. So you won't need a code or to move around to get a mobile team. You'll be able to identify yourself with your first name, last name, and you'll be able to vote this way. You don't have to go look for a mobile team. And then the third way is for the property owners. You have also the water and sewer bill invoice, your number. It's the number on the of the account that you can find on the top right-hand side of your invoice for water and sewer, and your postal code. So with these two numbers, you'll be able to access the site and put your first name, your last name, your postal code, and your account number for water and sewer, and then we'll be able to validate that you are a resident, and you'll be able to vote online. So basically, those are the three different ways of voting online, and you have we talked about the in-person vote. There will be 18 different choices on the vote, and you choose 5 projects, not 1, not 2, just 5. Okay, it's also possible to choose none of the possibilities, but you really have, out of the 18 possibilities, you have 5 choices that you have to vote for. It's basically a priority. So you vote the first one that's most important for you, your first choice, your second choice. Your first choice is more important than your second choice, third choice, etc. The communication department is working really hard in these different steps to reveal all these different steps. We do this through media, social media, Twitter, Facebook. We have a hashtag, Dieppe Decides. We hope that you will be able to use those sites and those hashtags. And also be an exhibit here at the Municipal Hall. It'll also be a mobile exhibit. We also have champions of the project who will be showing their projects. There'll be some nice pictures with information. And finally, even if the vote is not started, we want to celebrate the whole step. The 10th of December at 7 p.m., it'll be the time to conclude these different steps and to unveil the different winning projects that will have been voted on by the residents. So it's an invitation to come to this evening. That being said, that's basically puts an end to what I had to say to the residents concerning the vote. So different ways of doing it, the profile number or the account number for the water and sewer invoice, or in person, or a code that's given by the mobile team. So, are there any questions? Councillor Dallaire. It wasn't a question. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the volunteers from the municipality who've worked on these different steps. So it's thanks to them and to the administration that we've reached this point. Thank you, Madame Dallaire. It's not really a question that I have, maybe a clarification for people who are listening to us on the web. I think it would be a good idea to specify that we have $300,000. So, could they vote for more than $300,000? So is it just a type of project that they have to choose, or do they have a top at 300,000? It's a good question. There's no limit to the amounts. There are projects that are 7,000, some are worth 200,000. So the 5 choices for the residents, they don't have to count. They can vote for 5 projects that are going to be worth 1 million, or maybe for 2 projects $50,000. It shouldn't be a concern for them. They just choose the projects that are interesting to them. Okay, thank you for the clarification. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the volunteers who worked on this project, and I hope that many, many people will vote. Thank you. Now it's public hearing on the permanent street closure portion of Paul Street extension. Good evening, members of council. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. The topic, as the deputy mayor mentioned, is the closure of a portion of Paul Street extension. It's approximately 1728 square meters. In 1970, the city had acquired the parcel that we can see on the diagram. But the red portion is no longer necessary. As you can see, it's not very good quality of a map, but it's this is a map that's in the study 2040, and we can see that the extension of Paul Street is recommended here. So the small parcel here will not be necessary. So concerning the timeline, at the last public meeting, we fixed tonight's hearing and date. So tonight will be on the 9th of November. Tonight will be the reading of bylaw C19, first and second readings by title. And then at the meeting of the 23rd of November, there'll be the reading in its entirety of the bylaw C19, as well as a third reading by its title only. So that's pretty well it. If there are any questions. Are there any questions on the part of members of council? No questions, so thank you very much for the presentation. Our Deputy Mayor, just to tell you that we've received no comments, no observations, no complaints, so it can continue. Okay, thank you. Any questions by members of the public? Adoption of minutes, regular council meeting held October 26th, 2015. Moved by Councillor Dallaire. Seconded by Councillor Brideau. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. Motions, memorandums, nominations. 10.1 Administration unsightly premises, 1638 1640 Amiraux Street, PID 008 20258. Deputy Mayor, you have a resolution that identifies the 1638 1640 Amiraux Street as an unsightly premise, and basically it's to request staff to take steps to rectify the situation by necessary measures, and if it incurs expenses, basically request for reimbursement to the municipality. This is pursuant to the provisions set out in the Municipals Act. You've seen pictures, so the resolution is in order. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Councillor Leblanc moves. Oh, the reading of the resolution first. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. That Council authorize the personnel designated and responsible of this matter to have removed the debris located at 1638-1640 Amiro Street, PID 008 to 20258, and to undertake the necessary steps to be reimbursed the cleaning costs by the property owner pursuant to the provisions set out in the Municipalities Act. So moved, Your Worship. Seconded by Councillor Brideau. Questions? Councillor Béliveau. Thank you, Your Worship. Deputy Mayor. My question is, has anybody assessed the site and in what condition is this site? Is it still in a poor condition, as we can see on the pictures, or has it been cleaned up? Since Thursday, I haven't had any information that indicates otherwise. So if the resolution is passed and the site is cleaned up, then there will be no consequences. If the site is cleaned up, the resolution doesn't go any farther. Pursuant to Article 101 of the Act, will we be giving out a fine? There has been non-respect, so will the fine be applicable? I believe that there are also fines for continued delays in the cleanup. The reimbursement involves cleanup, not fines, and it's pursuant to provisions set out in the Municipalities Act. It doesn't refer to the fine that you're mentioning. So we need to sue if that were necessary. Deputy Mayor, if you could ask the clerk. In cases like this, if we have to go through this type of procedure, it's either people who have abandoned the home or who have very little means, so the fine would serve no purpose because it would probably be very expensive to go to court action. Are there any other questions? We go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. (10.2.1) Expropriation, Champlain to College Intersection Reconfiguration Project. We're still in the process of planning on the project, so we still have to confirm things for the budget, but in view of the plan, in order to go ahead, we're in negotiation with different owners. There are 4 owners and 6 parcels which have a status that will not budge. Things are going forward, and we're continuing our discussions with the owners, so we're asking Council to indicate expropriation plans so that the Champlain to College can continue to be reconfigured. So, for the reading of the resolution, Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. that council authorize the city to commence the procedures to expropriate the land having PID 006-73731 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland, province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by the firm WSP. A parcel of property having PID 006-72766 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland, province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP. A parcel of property having PID 006-72758 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP. A parcel of property having PID 006-73871 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP. Parcel of property having PID 009-899-05 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland, province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP. A parcel of property having PID 006-74879 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP. And a parcel of property having PID 006-73319 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP. For the purpose of carrying out work to improve the traffic flow at the intersection of Champlain Street and Collège Street, that council authorize its legal counsel, McIntyre Finn, to undertake the necessary procedures, and that all required approbations from City Council be coordinated with the City Clerk. That council authorize its employees and or its officers to enter upon the lands having PID 006-73731 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, having PID 006-72766 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, having PID 006-72758 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, having PID 006-73871 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, having PID 009-89905 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, having PID 006-74879 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, and having PID 006-73319 located on Champlain Street in the city of Dieppe in the county of Westmoreland and province of New Brunswick, to ascertain the suitability of the lands for the purposes for which their expropriation in whole or in part is required, and may make surveys, take levels, and makes such borings, sinks such trial pits, or conduct such other tests as are necessary to ascertain the suitability of the land. So moved, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Brideau. Moved. Seconded by Councillor Cormier. Questions? Councillor Godet. Did I understand properly that the construction period for this intersection is going to be next year? Yes, it's in the budget. That still has to be debated. So it'll probably be for next year, but we still need to have the budget debate. Yeah, and if this goes on, will that mean that the connection with the Gauvin Street and its intersection with Gauvin will occur at the same time? Not in this phase, no. Not at the phase of the Collège Champlain intersection. So there will be three sides. Any other question? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried unanimously. Next point, organizational performance. 10.3.1, participatory budget. Project eligibility. Mr. Richard presented earlier the initiative. It's going to be moving along in the next couple of weeks. Something that had to be mentioned was the eligibility of the projects. They had to be in the budget envelope, so we figured that 20% should be considered for the budget. That had been discussed at council, so it's up for recommendation tonight. For the reading, Councillor Cormier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. That Council accept the selected participatory budgeting projects having received the support of 25% or more of voters be eligible for funding while staying within the $300,000 envelope. So moved. Moved, seconded by Councillor Béliveau. Are there any questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. Municipal bylaws. 11.1. Bylaw C-19, authorizing the City of Dieppe to stop up and close any portion of a highway within the City of Dieppe. 11.1.1. First reading. Today's hearing concerning future roads, Paul Street, so it's the first and second reading by title. Councillor Béliveau. Bylaw number C-19, a bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to stop up and close any portion of a highway within the City of Dieppe. First reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Béliveau. Seconded by Councillor Dallaire. Questions? No questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. First reading. 11.1.2, second reading by title only. Bylaw number C-19, a bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to stop up and close any portion of a highway within the City of Dieppe. So moved. Moved by Councillor Béliveau, seconded by Councillor Dallaire. Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. 11.2, Bylaw 9, bracket 27/2015, amending bylaw respecting traffic. 11.2.1, first reading by title only. Councillor Leblanc, please. Bylaw number 9, 27/2015, a bylaw and amendment to the bylaw number 9 of the municipality of Dieppe respecting traffic. So moved. First reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Godet. Questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. 11.2.2, second reading by title only. Bylaw number 9, 27-2015, a bylaw and amendment to the bylaw number 9 of the municipality of Dieppe respecting traffic. So moved. Second reading by title only. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Godette. Hearing no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Number 2, notice of motion. No notices of motion. 13 inquiries and announcements by members of council. I'm going to start on my right. Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. For information, I'd like to invite those who would like to join us during the ceremony of Remembrance Day at 11 o'clock in the morning at the Anna Manafan School. Is it 11? It's not 10:30? Well, the ceremony starts at 11. The ceremonial parade will start at 10:30. At 11, actually. Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'd like to bring up a topic that was brought up already at council, and that concerns dog owners or other four-legged animals who can be found in our parks, on our trails, everywhere in the city. I've received complaints recently in my region, back of the Centenary arena, baseball. We walk our dogs, we have them run. It's healthy, it's good, but your animals leave stuff behind. So I would invite people to respect other people and to pick up after their dogs. You should all have little plastic bags. We all know this, we owners of dogs. So please, nobody is going to be picking up the droppings behind you. So it's your responsibility, you, the dog owners. And so I'm asking you to do that for the good of the community. Please. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Brideau. I think the message is clear. Councillor Dallaire. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Nothing tonight. Councillor Godette. Yes. Concerning the ceremony for the veterans, the 11th of November, in other words, Wednesday, the assembly for the troops is at 11:30, so there will be the parade. So people should have come in and sat down, should have done that at approximately 11:15, because the presentations and things like that start slightly prior to 11, so that the formal ceremony may start precisely at 11 o'clock in the morning. I also wanted to mention that I had the opportunity last week to participate in the Franco Fête, and I want to congratulate all our participants, organizers, and council. And I was happy for this support. It's an international cultural activity of importance. So thank you to those who participated, who came. And I also want to mention that at the award ceremony, the people of Dieppe received quite a lot. Those who are from Dieppe and those who grew up in Dieppe, like Simon Daniel, with 4 important awards. So it's nice recognition for us, and I should actually transmit congratulations and thanks to all the organizers of FrancoFête. I also had the opportunity to participate in the visits by the dignitaries from the Jeux de la Francophonie. I believe that we impressed very nicely the judges who were visiting the sites. And now maybe for something a little more down to earth. I was talking about Champlain Street, but Arsenault Street, can engineering or public works tell us if the problems with the potholes and things like that, if they know whether things have been repaired over the last couple of days? Yes, we're aware of this on Arsenault, and the challenge were twofold, the weather and contractors. But definitely, I don't have any follow-up tonight, but I'll be able to give you some follow-up tomorrow. Well, I don't know. The weather was cooperating. I don't know about the other one. I think maybe it's a question of the contractor. It's difficult to have him come. Another thing concerning trails, I was surprised because we were talking about picking up after our dogs. But it's a question of civic responsibility. Those who are walking on the trails, something that is constantly being brought up, the fact that many bicycle riders come up to pedestrians very quickly and without any warning. So maybe once or twice or maybe 3 times if it's necessary to warn the pedestrians beforehand so that they're not traumatized when the bicycles are upon them. I think that little warning bells should be used. And this is finally at the last meeting at the intersection of Champlain and Rue Notre-Dame. I mentioned something about that. I didn't mention details, but I think that it took 3 lights for 8 cars to turn. I think that is not acceptable. So my question is, have we done anything on this to improve the efficiency of this intersection? We're talking about Champlain and Notre-Dame. Yeah, Champlain and Notre-Dame du Marché. Yeah, that's for left to turn towards Notre-Dame. Yes, there was a presentation at Council a couple of months ago to identify that the intersection was not a good place to turn left, basically crossing 2 lanes to go on Notre-Dame. So maybe the intersection at Collège and Champlain, that would be the proper place to make a resolution toward the left. And there are resolutions tonight that we've heard to make sure that there's a left turn possible there. Also, we have to say that the construction in the marsh disrupted traffic, so hopefully things will come back to normal. So we're still requesting the patience of citizens. Basically, things are coming to an end soon, but right now the Notre-Dame du Marché and Champlain intersection, we mentioned that for safety reasons there would not be any green light priority to turn left. I have to say that it's done in different other places and it works with the appropriate flashing green light, and depending on the amount of time given. But I can tell you that having witnessed it. This intersection, specifically the center lane going up, maybe a combination of lights, left turn and straight, going straight. It would indicate to people who were not from here that, okay, if you want to turn left, listen, it's your choice, but it's going to take a certain amount of time. Yeah, it's true. It took three different lights for people to turn left, but basically they monopolized the intersection in both directions. Deputy Mayor, we can circulate the presentation that was done to refresh Council's memory, but we had made the presentation. Maybe Council was not 100% in agreement, but in today's context, the way things are set up today makes the intersection safe. It's the best scenario. But if you want, we can give you that presentation. So basically, the answer to my question was no. Yeah, I think that's what I had said the first time. I believe that things could be done without moving mountains. Well, for the permanent solution, we're working on College and Champlain, as was discussed during the presentation. So maybe you can send a copy of the presentation to the council members. Thank you, Mr. Godet. Councillor Cormier. Nothing to add. I wish everyone a good 11th of November ceremony. Councillor Béliveau. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just to repeat, the ceremony of Remembrance Day should be a duty. We should honor the memory of veterans passed on and present-day veterans. I'd like to add also, Deputy Mayor, that with Councillor Nolan, Councillor Cormier, Councillor Thibodeau, we spent last Saturday in Fredericton with the Union of New-Brunswick Municipalities. It was very interesting, and it gave us an indication that we're headed in the proper direction. It was very encouraging to see that members and basically councils of cities are taking a very strong interest in the development of our municipalities. There's also the question of the Francophonie Games. I was present at a couple of activities that took place here in Dieppe specifically. Some comments that I've heard, specifically concerning the caserne. Those who saw this found it very nice. They wanted more information, and with there'll be an engagement to give as much information as possible. But I think that basically they really appreciated their 20 minutes at the caserne. They couldn't believe their eyes. They couldn't believe the sound that there was there. So I do believe that if we have something to offer, it is this beautiful hall for the presentations that could take place during the Francophonie Games. So basically that's it for tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Béliveau. Before putting an end to this, I would remind people that the 2016 budget for council, also for members of the public. We will be discussing the budget on the 18th of November with the external agencies, and the 24th and 25th of November, the municipal budget. That being said, since we come to the end of the agenda, adjournment, have a good evening. Thank you.